Thank you. Yeah, good af- thank good afternoon, man. Yeah, I will be glad to reintroduce myself as Mr. Cyril Ajibolade, the CEO of Truth Talk Arena. I'll be glad this afternoon to be taking us through the lecture, Community Green Initiative, Sustainable Practices for Greener Tomorrow. Like we all have known, I would like to tell us briefly what we should be expecting during this lecture and what this lecture will be all about. During this lecture on Community Green Initiative, I will emphasize on some of the essential practices and achievable sustainable practices that individuals can incorporate into their daily lives. These are what we can do on our daily basis, both you and myself. Sharing information on how to reduce waste, conserving energy, and using eco-friendly products, and supporting local sustainable initiatives. Thank you, as I will be going further into today's lecture. Sustainability simply means the ability to meet our present needs without compromising the future generation needs. What this simply means is what you and I need at this present time and without affecting the generation coming behind's needs. We don't really need to compromise the coming generation, their own need. So, I'll forge ahead in the lecture. I will be glad to tell you, I'll be sharing my screen so as you can go through one or two slides on this lecture. Please, can you see my screen? Or you cannot see? Can you see now? Hello? No. Sorry, excuse me. Can you see now? Yeah, okay, thank you, perfect. So, sustainability refers to the ability to meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs, like I've earlier said. What you and I need today, and without tampering with those coming behind us, what they need. It involves a balanced and responsible approach to economic, social, and environmental consideration. This concept of sustainability is often described using three interconnected pillars: economic, social, and environmental. I said these are interconnected pillars because once one of these pillars is affected, it affects virtually the other aspect of life of woman Like if the economy is dwindling, we all know what that means to the social life of other people. And if we are in a particular environment which is not conducive, you all know what that means to our health and to everybody around us. So this is why we say they are interconnected pillars. Because if one is affected, the other aspect of human life will be affected. Like I've mentioned earlier, the three interconnected pillars, where we have the economic sustainability, we have the social sustainability, and we have the environmental sustainability. I'll be narrowing this down by explaining what each of these pillars, what it stands for, and how they've affected human life. These pillars focuses on ensuring a long-term viability of economic system. It involves practices that promote economic growth, stability, and resilience without depleting resources or causing harm to other aspects of sustainability. I think we've all been hearing some of the word economic system and economic growth. In most time, we do hear when they say the economy is in recession. So when you hear the word economic recession, this simply means the economic is not what? Not too good. And there are some practices we put in place that can what? Increase the economic stability. There are some things we put into practice that can make the economy grow without the economic what? Going into recession. So this is what economic sustainability simply means. I think you are following. Okay. Social sustainability. Social sustainability is concerned with promoting equity, social justice, and community well-being. It involves addressing issues such as poverty, education, healthcare, human rights, and social inclusive to create societies that are fair, just, and inclusive. What this simply means is that everybody wants to live in a social life where he or she is being valued. Like in most time you hear equality in gender equality. We all want justice, as when we talk about ethnic race and racism or whatsoever. These are where social sustainability comes in. Everybody wants to be part of the society where they belong to. Regardless of where you come from, regardless of your race, regardless of the age, and regardless of the gender. So there are some practices that are as well put in place to meet up all these things. Where the children of the common ones can go to the same school with children of the rich ones. Where everybody can go to the same health care to get the same medication and every other thing without being biased. These are where social sustainability comes in, and which everyone is trying to promote today, so that every aspect of human life, the social life, can be maintained. Environmental sustainability, which is the third pillar. This pillar emphasizes the responsible use of natural resources and the protection of ecosystem. It involves the practice that minimizes negative impact on the environment, reduces pollution, conserve biodiversity, and promote the efficient use of resources. What this simply means, before I will go further into the explanation. This particular word, ecosystem, will be repeating itself along the line. Then I will give a brief meaning of the word ecosystem, so that as you keep hearing the word ecosystem, you can understand what I'm talking about. An ecosystem is a community of living organisms interacting with each other and their physical environment. It encompasses various species, their habitats, and the relationship between them. Ecosystem can be as small as a pond or as vast as a forest, each playing a crucial role in maintaining ecological balance. What ecosystem simply means is that we live together in a community, different species, human living among dogs, dogs living among humans. Some are bears, some are other species. Without anyone disturbing each other, you see, every species live conveniently. In this Western world, you see so many people with dogs, and these dogs are the ones keeping what? Their company. They live together in harmony. So these are some of the things you could get when talking about ecosystem. So now, environmental sustainability, it involves practices that minimize negative impact on the environment, reduces pollution, conserve biodiversity, and promote efficient use of resources. Like we'll be narrowing down some of our basic resources that we know. We have trees and some other things which help to protect some of the hazard we get in the environment. But most time, people do misuse these resources. Like in some communities, in some countries, where we have a lot of deforestation. And at this stage, there are a lot of hazards, because all these natural resources help to protect some of this hazard. But in a misused environment where these natural resources are being misused, what do you think is gonna happen in these kind of places? So, sustainable development strives to balance these three pillars to create a harmonious and enduring system. It is often responsible as a Venn diagram. You can see the diagram on my screen. That is what you mean by a Venn diagram, where the overlapping region represents sustainable practices that benefit all the three dimensions. Like I told you, we have some key principles of sustainability, which include long-term thinking, like the economic growth, the economic sustainability I talked about. I told you is a long-time planning. It's not just something you can just plan today. Some countries, it takes them more than 20 years before they can get stability. Some, it takes them more than 20 years. So it is not just a day program. It's a long-time planning, a long-time thinking. So, long-time thinking, like the note I have here, consideration of the long-time consequence of decisions and actions. We have some actions to take today that it will take a longer time before you get things right if you are not careful with those decisions you make. And that is why sustainability, some of the principles of sustainability involves long-term planning. You don't just dabble into decision making. So, we go to the next one, resources efficiency. Making the most of available resources to minimize waste and environmental impact. This simply means making the most of available resources to minimize waste. Yeah, good and fine. We have some resources we have at our disposals. If you don't make use of them efficiently, at the long run, you will result in wasting some of these resources, and which many of us or the community will later suffer. Like I will use construction industry as a case study to this. If you are into the construction industry and you have some available resources whereby you want to make, let me use concrete as example. You want to make concrete. For example, where concrete consists of the sand, the granite, cement, and water. If you misuse these resources, if you don't use them efficiently, at the long run, you come up with excessive waste and you won't be able to finish that work because you've wasted some of the materials you needed. So this is what it simply means by resources efficiency. We have some countries today, they have resources, but because they mismanage all these resources, because they lavish them, because their leaders waste these resources, at the long run, they fall into the pit because they mismanage their resources. So we're going to equity and social justice, ensuring that the benefit and burdens of development are distributed fairly among different groups and future generations. Like I told you the other time, equity and social justice. These are places where things like racism come in, and which every one of us is what? Is campaigning against. If you happen to be in the United Kingdom, you be Nigeria, you be from Ghana, Zimbabwe, from the Eastern Europe country, we want everybody to be treated equally. And this is where we come in with equity. We want everybody to be treated equally. Social justice. Blacks and whites should work in the same offices, and not saying that some people should work in specific place and some not working in some specific place. So these are what we meant by equity and social justice, where everybody has right to benefit in the economy or in the society they belong to. Biodiversity conservation, protecting and preserving the variety of life on earth. Like I told you, biodiversity, where different things live together, preserving the variety of life on earth. We have birds, we have dogs, we have cats. All these people live in harmony with humans. And at the same time, everyone having their own right. If you go to museums, if you go to some parks, if you go to some places, they tell you, and it is boldly written all across the places, that animal has right on the way. Do not kill. This is to tell you that so many other lives living on earth, apart from human, they have right to the economy, they have right to the society, and they have life to certain benefits, which human as well have. So these are some of the things we need to understand about diversity conservation. Sustainability is a broad and interdisciplinary concept encompassing aspects of economy, ecology, sociology, and ethics. It is increasingly important in the face of global challenge such as climate change, depletion of natural resources, and social inequality. Many individuals, businesses, governments, and organizations are working towards incorporating sustainable practices to create a more resilient and equitable future. Like I said, there are so many organizations around the globe today that are preaching against the word racism, gender equality, and so many other aspects of life. There are so many people have been passing through for long, but they are government parastatals. They are non-profit organizations who are campaigning against this as to make sure everybody lives in harmony. Current environmental challenges and effect on community. Current environmental challenges and effect on community. As we all have known that there are some current environmental challenges and how they have their effect on the community. When talking on their effect on the community, it means their effect on you and I. We have so many environmental challenges today that has affected you and I. Such challenges, we have the likes of climate change, biodiversity loss, deforestation, pollution, and these are some of the challenges we have. The climate change. Talking about climate change, this is not only limited to a particular country or a particular people or whatsoever. Climate change is a worldwide problem, and you see some developed countries working hard on this. But still, some of these challenges came as human activities. Some of the things you and I do that leads to these challenges. So we'll be narrowing down some of these challenges and we'll be explaining more. Like the climate change. The Earth's climate is changing due to human activities, primarily the burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial processes. This leads to global warming, rising in sea levels, extreme weather events, and disruption to ecosystem. Like I've said the earlier time, that will always be coming across this word ecosystem. Yeah. Now, primarily the burning of fossil fuels. We all know we burn fuel every day. Either you burn it or I burn it, but directly or indirectly, we all burn this fuel in one way or the other. Smokes from our vehicles, from our motorcycles, from our engines, all these are what? Are burning of fuel in one way or the other. We have burning of your waste product. These are some of the things that causes these challenges, and the effect is directly or indirectly on us. We have deforestation. Talking about deforestation, this is a continuous cutting of log of woods without what? Replanting. Like I've earlier explained, deforestation, large-scale clearing of forests for agriculture, logging, and urban development contributes to loss of biodiversity, disrupt ecosystem, and release large amount of stored carbon into the atmosphere. Like I was saying, like I've earlier explained, this deforestation is one of the primary cause of some climatic change. Afforestation, in the first place, they have a vital role to play in a community. This is the use of crop or trees. In our elementary studies, we were made to understand that when woman gives out what? Carbon dioxide, the wood what? Takes it and releases what back to us? Oxygen. So directly or indirectly, we know that the trees, the plants around us in the community, they have a vital role to play because of the exchange in what? In gaseous exchange. Carbon dioxide or oxygen. So these are part of the challenges we are facing today, deforestation. When there's a large clearance of the farm or trees. So how come do you want to get enough what? Enough oxygen to breathe in? Overfishing. Talking about overfishing, we all knew that fishing is an occupation, and which we are not stopping people from doing or carrying out their own occupation, but the excessive killing of all these fishes is what is overfishing. And how do people overfish? When you go to the stream or you go to waters, you get fishes which you even see they are less mature, they are not matured enough. You don't need to kill these things because at the long run they have a vital role to play as well, and your activities on this water, including this overfishing and destruction fishing method, threatens marine ecosystem and the livelihood of communities depending on fisheries. Can I hear? Please, are you talking to me? Okay. So, if you are into fishing, you get all these small fishes, it's something you can put them back into the water for them to grow. We'll be going further to waste management. Inadequate waste management practices, including the improper disposal of electronic waste and hazardous materials, contributes to environmental pollution and pose risk to human health. Waste management. I want to say waste management is something we all need to what? Incorporate into our daily activities, because the word waste goes a long way. The word waste goes a long way, and it needs to be what? To be properly managed, as some of these our waste products are hazardous to ourselves. Like, I will use something as a case study. If you pass through some places where waste materials are kept, like wasted food and some wasted materials, and these are beginning to generate some kind of odor, if you pass there, how did you feel? So now imagine if these things are kept closer to where you live. How do you want to have a healthy life? So this is why we said it contributed to environmental pollution and pose risk to human health. Inhaling of these bad odors could as well affect some organs in your body. So this is why we are encouraging today that waste should be properly and adequately managed. So, we all need to what? Address these challenges. Addressing these challenges requires a concerted effort from individuals, communities, businesses, and government. Sustainable practices, policies, and technology are essential to mitigate the negative impact on the environment and work towards a more sustainable and resilient future. So, like I've said, it is a role you and I need to play as to reduce these challenges in the community. It's a role you need to play and I need to play as to reduce this problem that make human health to go into high risk. So now this will be leading us to Community Green Initiative. A community green initiative refers to a collective effort within a community to promote environmental sustainability and addressing the ecological challenges. These initiatives are typically driven by community members, organizations, or local government, and focuses on implementing environmental friendly practices, conservation efforts, and sustainable development projects at the local level. The goal is to enhance the overall environmental health of the community and contribute to broader global sustainability objectives.